Greetings, this is Lynn Mann presenting to you Screencast-O-Matic. In part 1 of our series, we discussed downloading and installing your software. In part 2, it was all about the control panel. And in part 3, we're going to discuss what you need to do to actually record a video. In this series, we're explicitly speaking of the free software of the version, and then there is a second series that discusses the pro version. So sometimes you can just jump on the machine and start Screencast-O-Matic and start your video. But if you're creating a video for a purpose, there are a couple of things that you might want to take into consideration. One is an outline. You kind of want to know what the direction of your video is going to be, and it's not necessarily just a start, middle, and end. It could be the 5 or 6 topics that you want to discuss, and you want to make sure that you don't skip over any of them. Another thing that's helpful is having a script. Now, I've used both a script and not a script to create my videos before, and although I did prefer to have a script, it was somewhat limited, and also I kept changing it. And in turn, it took me a lot longer to produce a video because I wanted it to be perfect. And every little flub that I did, I wanted to do redo, redo, redo because I had that script to fall back on. Sometimes when you go off the cuff and you just talk, sometimes it's better. So it depends on what the purpose of the video is. Another thing you want to consider is pace. With the free version of the software, we're limited to 15 minutes. So not only do you want to pace yourself and cover all the topics that you want to cover within that period of time, but you also want to pace yourself in the tone that you speak. Sometimes when you're speaking face-to-face, you talk at a faster pace than what you should do on a video. And if you slow it down just a little, then folks might be able to follow it a little bit easier than just speeding through it at your normal pace. The other thing is, with the free version of the software, we're limited on what screen capture we can do. Like what I'm doing now is the picture-in-picture, but I'm not necessarily changing the point of view of my screen. I'm just capturing my full frame and then the webcam as well. But if I want it to be a little bit more dramatic, or if I wanted to change it up a bit to make it more important for one size or the other, then perhaps what I do is I shrink down my area that I'm recording so it's a little bit more focused on what is on the page instead of a lot of the white space that was on it before. So of course the first thing that you want to do is actually start the program. So you find your program, you start it up, and since we're using the free version, all we would need to do is click on free version. Once we open up our free version, then we're going to get the window to be able to size what area that we want to capture on our screen. Again, since this is our free version, we have the option of capturing our screen and capturing our screen and the webcam. Whichever you choose is up to you. Typically, I don't run my webcam, but I thought this was a good video to be able to do both and kind of just speak directly to you versus you looking at a dead screen. That's something to consider when you're building your videos. Next, we want to decide what area of our screen that we want to capture. Do you want to capture the full screen? Do you want to capture just a portion of the screen? Do you want to be able to change it in between? So maybe take in consideration that if you decide to capture the whole screen, once you're recording, you can change that afterwards, and it's a little bit easier versus, well, maybe it's the same either way. If you start little, then you can go larger in the end, but that's up to you. It's all your creation. Again, to decide what screen size you want, you're going to toggle this button down at the bottom. Initially, it gives you this nice square area, or I should say rectangular area, that you can drag and choose which size that you want by dragging these little squares. Or you can choose from the preset sizes. So let's say we started recording and we want to change our screen size or our screen capture size. So the best thing you want to do is learn the toggle key sequence, which is Alt-P. Alt P would pause your recording, as well as it will start your recording. And if you're recording the full frame, sometimes it's very difficult, or it is impossible, to click on the record button. If you have resized your frame in any way, then yes, you can just click on the record button on and off to pause. But I do a lot of recording in full screen and you don't have that option, so you really want to learn the Alt P. So let's say you've recorded a bit of your screen or your script or whatever that you wanted to say, and now you want to zoom in for effect. With the Pro version, all you need to do is concentrate on an area with your mouse and it will automatically zoom in. Also, when you get to the editing sequence in the Pro version, you do have that capability. In the free version, you don't, so you kind of have to manipulate it yourself. So what I want to do is I want to zoom into this area right here for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause my video, I'm going to select my screen capture tool, and instead of the size that I have it right now, I may want to zoom it down or make it smaller down to 25%, and that makes it a little bit more dramatic that I'm focusing on this one portion of the screen. So again, what I'm going to do is pause, change my setting, and now I'm zoomed into this area. Now I do need to be aware that if I am using the webcam, that webcam capture is going to eat up some of my space. So perhaps it's at this moment that I want to turn it off for a while and just discuss what's on the page. And again, all I would need to do is toggle it to a pause mode. Then click on my webcam button, turn it off for the duration of where I want it to be turned off, and then continue with whatever the video is. And then of course continue filming or recording. So it's very handy to be able to toggle on and off. It's very handy to be able to resize the screen. And of course, it's very handy to turn on and off the webcam. I'm not a director, I'm not a film director, so sometimes it's a hit and miss as to what I'm doing. I may want to record it, look at it afterwards before I publish it, see indeed if that is what I want, and if so, then I'm good to go, or I would need to back up and re-record. What do you mean? I said this doesn't have any editing capabilities. Well, it does slightly. So I'm going to move my window over just a little bit, and you'll see these arrows when you're on pause. Not when you're recording, but when you're on pause, you'll see these arrows to the left and to the right. This is the only editing capabilities I have during the free version. So you can see when I paused this and took a screenshot of my capture, I was at 4 minutes and 43.5 seconds. I'm now at 8 minutes. So indeed, if I wanted to crop out a last little bit of my video, all I would need to do is click on these buttons, either left and or right, get to the point where I wanted to truncate my video. And as soon as I pushed record, so I'm going to move this over just a little bit, and in fact I'm going to resize it just a moment. So if I toggled these keys and then hit record, the record button to start recording again, it's going to prompt me, do I want to truncate my video at that spot, or do I want to continue at the end of where I left off? So let's say I chopped off 10 seconds of my video because I had an error or a mistake or whatnot, and I backed it up 10 seconds. When I push on record, it's going to ask me, do I want to truncate it at 4 minutes and 33 seconds, or do I want to start recording at the end of the video? Personally, I think this is an incredibly nice feature, because what could have happened was I had pushed play to preview it and I didn't get all the way to the end, and if I would have immediately pressed record, I could have recorded over something I actually wanted to keep. So having it ask you, do you want to truncate it at that point, or do you want to continue recording from the end of the video, I think is amazingly smart. In the last video, I demonstrated some of the features using a picture of my dog Pi, my Siberian Husky, and I thought it only fair that I demonstrated in this video using my other dog. Thankfully, I only have two dogs. So this is my dog Max, and I'll be demonstrating what the mouse movement will do when you're recording. So you've probably already picked up on it. When I'm moving my mouse, Screencast-O-Matic will follow my mouse with usually a yellow circle. And then if I do any clicking, you'll notice that the yellow mouse will or yellow circle will change to a blue kind of it signifies that I did a click. So it helps pinpoint where the eye location is. Really nice if you want somebody to follow and you're talking about, okay, this area of your screen right here. The other thing you can do is resize your screen to focus some of the attention on that piece. So I'm going to resize my screen and again use my mouse to focus the attention on that area of the screen. And now I can focus in a little bit more. So those are all nice handy little features to have. I do want to point out one thing about the webcam that we don't have the capability of doing. One, the webcam by default goes in the lower right hand corner. In the Pro version, I can replace that in a different area on my screen. I can also resize the size of the video box. In the free version, I don't have that capability. And here's something that's strange that I found out just recently is if I use the online version of the software, not the one that you download, just the one that you use on the website, I can change the size of my webcam box. I found that strange that it was in that web version, but it's not in the download version. So that's something to be aware of. If you want that capability, you could just use the website version of the software. So what did I mean by the free version? Well, there is a version that you download. That's the one I'm using today. And then there's another one. If you go to screencast-O-Matic.com and you click on record, start recording, you're using the web version. It's slightly different, but the features are pretty much the same. Except, one, you don't have to download and install the software. You do have to download a Java plugin to be able to use it. Secondly, you do have the capability of resizing your webcam frame. Not too sure why you have it in that version versus the downloadable version, but there you have it. So let's summarize what we did in this video. We were able to start recording and to change our screen capture size. So I was able to toggle it with the screen capture button and be able to change it to like a 75%, 50%, and even just dragging the corners around. I also can drag the sides and move my box around, as you saw when we were doing that slight editing capability. Secondly, we can toggle our webcam on and off for reasons where maybe I don't want the web picture on the frame as it is, or it takes up too much space, then I can toggle that off. And then also the last thing that we talked about was the mouse highlight, and that it will follow my mouse around without doing anything special. So if you like this video, you might want to check out the YouTube channel CA Community Colleges and see the other videos that are in this series for not only the free version but also the pro version of the software. So until then, this is Lynn Mann. Be seeing you.